the original. It made our first kill. There are several not here to visit, but this is the newest one. Joining the family. Stealthy, swift, easily concealable. Perfect tool for an assassin.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and we have an amazing show, and of course, nothing but amazing guests. She is the heir to the throne of the Undead Realm, a record 4-time TNA Knockout Tag Team Champion, a former TNA Knockout Champion, the Demon Assassin herself. Please welcome Rosemary. How are you doing?
Oh, darling, that was a wonderful introduction.
I have a very important question. How do you travel with this butcher knife?
Oh, you would be surprised what you can put in a checked bag.
Yes, they might have a little bit of problems, but it's just like
let us travel with a mini arsenal.
And you had, I want to say, a new gimmick. You've always been Rosemary, but you've changed your hair and you kind of changed the look a little bit. What inspires you? Because you do it quite often.
Yeah, so there's nothing like a little growth to inspire a bit more violence in you. Yes, we've gone through many iterations, obviously. You know us as we. Lately, I've felt more like I, unfortunately, cannot hear the hive anymore, save for this digital media that you humans are obsessed with. So therefore, this is the perfect way to reach back out to them to let them know that we still fight for them, even though I can no longer hear them. Yes, there is 7 of me in here still, but it's no longer the hive. It's a bit lonely in here, to be honest with you. Look at Wrath is going so crazy. She's literally draining this human of its color.
And with that being said, what kind of, you just mentioned it, there are 7 of you, and now you're kind of just hearing an I. What kind of happened for that to happen?
Can't explain it, darling. It's part of all the confusion. It's part of the frustration. It's part of everything that's going on with me right now. Now I am I. It's an identity crisis, obviously, what we're going through. And the fact that I can't hear the hive anymore just means that there's some sort of loss of power. There's been some sort of shift of power. Perhaps the shadow's losing power. Perhaps it's us with all these losses that continue to pile up. I lost Abyss. I lost Crazy Steve. I lost Black Taurus, Havoc, the Valkyrie, the Bunny. The list goes on. And with each loss, you humans tend to process loss as almost a piece of your souls during this grieving period. And perhaps when it comes to a demon soul, that means losing a bit more power with each loss. We're not used to this.
With that said, you kind of mentioned a lot of your losses, and maybe this might bring back the we. A former TNA knockout, Chelsea Green, she says that she wants a match with you. So, if that were the case, how would that, what would that look like?
Speaking of someone who's gone through multiple iterations, we've seen Chelsea grow from Laurel Van Ness, the rich heiress, to the mad bride, to the luscious drunkard, to this, what do you humans call them, Karens? Something about wanting managers and causing a lot of drama backstage. She has gone through all of these iterations and is still just Chelsea, which is very exciting because even though all the changes that I've gone through, I am still Rosemary. And when those kind of strong personalities come together in battle, it is always something to witness. And the fact that Chelsea is one of the few humans that I do tolerate more than others, that it is promises that it would be a lot of fun should anyone pull the trigger.
Okay. And I mean, it seems like you've had a little bit of fun with Ash by Elegance. What's going on with that? I feel like it's not done yet. Your reign of terror is not done on her.
Never. She took something from me. Nobody takes from me. You understand? Havoc was part of the us. Havoc missing is part of the reason I am me, that I'm so alone, that I'm so angry. The loss of something close. I don't even know where she is. And that's Ash's fault.
So what are the plans? What are you gonna do with Ash?
Well, I haven't decided yet, darling. Something dark, something terrible, something opportunistic. You see, what I've been doing the past several weeks, several months, time's difficult to comprehend here, but I've been following her, plotting, mapping out her movements, knowing exactly when she will show and when she won't show. Because you notice she does tend to have a lot of scheduling things pop up, makes it difficult to track, but it's starting to look like if there's something on the line, she will be there, as you saw something on the line when we faced Jordan Grace recently, and Ash couldn't help but make her presence known. And while it does irk us that she ruined that match, it was an ulterior motive to lure her out. Because if she engaged us in physical combat, that means she accepts what lies ahead for her.
And I mean, that's another thing too. Well, lies ahead for her, and also possibly lies ahead for you. You had a match with Jordan Grace. It didn't quite go, the way you expected it. We do have TNA Emergence happening later on this month. Could we expect, you trying to vie for that TNA Knockouts Championship?
It did feel good again, didn't it? And as fractured as I am, I'm feeling more whole than ever. Suddenly, the prospect of that Knockouts World Tag Team Championship back in the Hive is a possibility. We haven't forgotten. But Ash comes first. Whatever she's got going on at Emergence, we'll be watching, we'll be waiting, and we'll be ready to take advantage of the opportune moment.
So you're saying, if I can interpret it clearly, that if Ash has a match, you might be surprising her there, or you might be having a match with Ash at Emergence.
It could happen either way. We're not entirely sure. It'll be one-on-one battle, or we'll just make ourselves known. We have been enjoying ourselves, torturing and haunting her little personal concierge lately. He does scream so wonderfully in terror when running from a blade. Perhaps we could have some fun with him. It does seem to irritate her when he's in danger.
So how many blades do you have? Because that one looks different than the one that we saw. Do you have
This
like
is
a collection?
the original. It made our first kill. There are several not here to visit, but this is the newest one. It's joining the family. Stealthy, swift, easily concealable. A perfect tool for an assassin. We are a bit of a knife connoisseur.
Okay. And so with that being said, you have almost like a not a new entrance, a little different thing to your entrance. You bring the blade into the ring. Is the intent to scare somebody, or if not stopped by the ref, something else kind of
The
gorier would happen?
intent, over the past several years, perhaps you've noticed, the intent is to remind people who I am, who we are, who Rosemary is, who the demon assassin is, and the things that we did over the past years and the things that I am capable of. We kidnapped children. We beheaded undead bridesmaids. We smashed in the skull of a dinosaur in the undead realm. We have accomplished so many violent acts, and yet so many humans seem to think we're some sort of cuddly little teddy bear to play with. The cleaver comes out with us now every match to remind everyone that there is an edge, there is a sharpness, and if you cuddle this teddy bear, there is a chance that you will get your throat cut.
All right. I don't know if you can answer this question because your origin's a little bit different than 7 of your personalities, but I've noticed that there are a lot of Canadian female wrestlers that are kind of a part of the TNA roster. Could you kind of speak to that? Or can one of your personalities speak to that? Why there's, what's in the water that there's so many female wrestlers from Canada that's coming about?
Oh, not sure. There is definitely a reason that a Canadian meat suit was selected to bonded especially well with their demon soul. But there is definitely something hardy. There's something strong. There's a strong stock coming up from Canada, especially the Ontario Indies. There's a lot of talent, and TNA historically has done a very good job of putting a spotlight on Canadian talent in the past, and continue to do so now, which is very exciting. There's a lot of difficulty for non-Americans to get the kind of exposure they need to get a contract offer to move up in professional wrestling. And sometimes you just need that door open. Sometimes you just need that chance. And TNA has always done a very good job of giving Canadians that chance to get through the door. And yes, they do come a little bit strong, don't they? Jody Thread does come at you like a bit of a hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Very much
and
so.
that's all. Ooh, she kicks hard.
Yeah. So with that being said, kind of going back to Emergence and beyond, if you can write your undead script, what would that look like? I mean, does it look like you going through Ash, then to Jordan, and now you are, TNA Knockouts champion by the end of this year, or or do you bring back Havoc and now you vie for both titles?
Oh, just like Gail. She had both once. We could do that too. Me and Havoc. If we found. Do you know where she is? There's been no communication. It would be a lot easier if there was just some sort of signal of where she is, but there's nothing. So perhaps if we can destroy Ash, the information will become clear to us. And Ash has clearly laid out some sort of indication that she's not finished with Jordan. So if we were to go for the the World's Knockout Championship again, it might not even be Jordan. It could be Ash should she get her way with that kind of rematch. And then, oh, who knows? It doesn't matter who holds it. We'll cut their throat either way.
There it is. I guess. Beyond the TNA matchups, what else are you looking forward to for TNA Emergence?
Well, if you haven't noticed, darling, there's been a bit of a buzz lately around TNA with this almost turf war. We're not sure. We interpret it as a turf war. It might be more friendly competition to humans, but the alliance with NXT has brought in some surprise appearances, some which humans like to call dream matches. There's a lot of opportunities with NXT and TNA having this working agreement. You've seen some wonderful matches so far. Why not one for the Demon Assassin? Because it does come to my attention that there is a Dreamweaver over there. And reality benders are so fun to play with, Wendy. I see you.
So is there anybody in particular that you would want to have a match with? Like I actually said this on the show before, you and Wendy Chu. That would be a really great match, I feel. But anybody else that you have your undead eyes on?
Not sure. So many of them are so hell-bent on strict competition that there's few that dabble in the truly interesting things in the darkness. Rhea showed such promise for a while, but then she fell in love. She needs to go back to the dark side. that would fix everything. We can help with that, Rhea. Do you need help? We can teach you how to hate again.
Teach you how to. And then we had a brief appearance from Courtney. Has she been talking to you, or could we see an appearance from her, pop up someday soon again?
If she's useful, perhaps there is a time where something requiring only a human might be needed. Just please, anything that she can do, the demon can do better. But she is still useful and actually very compliant lately. Perhaps she just needed to stretch her legs for a little bit, and then she would quiet down. We let her do a run while there was some business to take care of in the undead realm, and now we've got full control of the meat suit, no matter how many detrimental changes we're putting it there. But she apparently is honoring the agreement.
Okay. And last two questions before we got out here. You debuted with Allie, the Multiverse. Is there going to be? Are we going to be revisiting that soon, or has it been happening and we don't know?
It's possible. Obviously, the multiverse still exists, independent of this timeline. It's still happening. There are bunnies out there, even though I still have failed to be able to resurrect my timeline's bunny, or your timeline's bunny, the prime line. But there are still out there, and that is the only way that there is communication open with her. So yes, more multiverse adventures, more alternate timeline adventures with the bunny. We do miss those kind of antics. A little bit of a breather from the workload of all the assassination targets. There's a lot of work. Demons are a problem. We have to. A lot of souls to collect, a lot of rogues, a lot of renegades. Did you know all these haunted sites around your planet are all renegade demons? That's our job, to go round them up. It's a lot of work. We like to play with
it.
It is
fun. Okay, and thank you, I guess.
Last question.
Yes, I appreciate it. Last question before we get out of here. So we have TNA. It's going to be happening tomorrow on Thursday. Are there going to be any more knife-infused matches that we can look forward to?
Grandfather willing. But tomorrow night's a week removed, like we talked about. Ash ruining everything. And yet at the same time solidifying everything we wanted from her. She came in, she attacked us, and now the inevitable war lies in the future. Whether tomorrow night, whether Emergence or beyond, Bound for Glory, now announced in Detroit. The Motor City. We could have so much fun there.
Ooh, okay. It sounds like some big things are coming your way. For folks who want to get in contact with the Demon Assassin, maybe let them to let you know if they've seen Havoc somewhere. How can they find you?
Well, like we say, disconnection from the hive does make it a little bit more difficult. Social media is the easiest. We do still check X. You could use a Ouija board. That does. Just be careful. Make sure you have the right number first. But that is a way. Yeah, you could summon us. Would help. Well, you see anything, any information. Where is Havoc? Last sighting we heard she was at AAA in Mexico. That could be a lead.
There,
get on this.
There it is. That's the hashtag. Where is Havoc? But thank you, Rosemary, for taking the time to showcase and show your knives and all that stuff. And I hope that you are successful in becoming the next TNA Knockout. Thank you so much for joining. Definitely, you guys check out TNA Emergence happening later on this month. My name is TK Trinidad. You can find me everywhere at TK Trinidad. And make sure you check out Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao, y'all.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.